Do any of you have any sort of thoughts or worries or concerns on the fact that, you know, YouTube seems to be the default discovery engine for, you know, the next generation of music consumers?
I would definitely, I actually would take offence a little bit at the thought that YouTube is just this platform with all this crap. I think it's really important. I think YouTube has actually been really great just generally for, you know, you have all the kind of lolcats and you have all, you know, that kind of stuff, but I think it is actually really important to have that platform that people can, like, you know, just make a video and then share that. You know, it might not be content that is, you know, for a mass market audience, but I actually think the fact that, you know, somebody can just pick up a video camera and, you know, publish something and take part in this kind of creative economy, you know, they might not be doing it, you know, they might, like, for example, my cousin, he's like 8 years old, like he's actually less concerned about going and discovering new music, and he's actually more concerned about creating himself. Right. So he spends his weekends not listening to music with his friends. He spends, you know, he gets his friends around and they make their own films. I mean, they get their, you know, Lego guys and, you know, and like for everyone in this room, you know, my cousin's film of him making Lego is complete and utter bullshit. I mean, it's just awful and it's like, it's quite cringeworthy. Yeah. But the really important thing is that, like, it allows him to create and it allows him to, like, express himself. So he's not actually just having to spend his time consuming all of this stuff. It's actually an outlet for him to share his stuff. So I don't know, there's just, you know, what, like, for me, I think one of the really exciting things about the web is that it has been this environment where people can get involved in the creative process and actually go and create something themselves, and they actually get a lot of value from it. I mean, we've all grown up in the music industry where people only create things and it's expected that it has to be of a professional quality and, you know, you have to get paid for it. But there's actually a lot of value in just, like, you know, creating something and sharing it and, you know, having this kind of feedback loop. Mm-hmm. Like I use my SoundCloud account. I'm not a kind of, you know, band or, you know, like an artist, but I play piano and I use my SoundCloud account just to, you know, I record myself playing piano and I'm a bit of a beginner, so I'll go and share it with a few people that I know that, you know, I don't mind being embarrassed and they'll give me feedback on how I'm playing. So actually I think that it would be a dangerous thing just to kind of, like, you know, put YouTube into this corner where it was just for, you know, like the big kind of superstars to, you know, make the money. But yeah, I mean, I guess to address your point of commercial works being on YouTube.
Yeah, as a more of a, you know, way for kids to discover new music.
Yeah, and I think they have actually. I mean, obviously, this was kind of almost a byproduct of the platform that they were creating. But actually, I've been hearing some stories from labels who are actually taking YouTube really seriously now, and as an income stream. I mean, I had a conversation with a small label recently who was saying, wow, you know, we're doing, like, you know, 4 figures every month from YouTube, and they're actually, you know, they now have, like, smart kids in their digital marketing departments who are actually like, wow, shit, you know, how do we get more subscribers? How do we put out more interesting content? And, you know, they do have control of the content. You know, they can say, well, you know, don't allow my content on YouTube, we want to block it. But actually labels are realizing that they can put their content up there and, you know, somehow cede a little bit of control, but actually get a lot back from that, whether it's just giving it out for publicity or whether it's allowing, you know, somebody to use Google AdWords and actually put some advertising and get a cut of that. So while I think, you know, YouTube, you know, like, you know, it's definitely been a bit of a grey area, I think, you know, there are a lot of steps being made, you know, to make it a positive force rather than a negative force.
The reason YouTube is used so much by the kids is it works.
Yeah.
You know, you can type whatever you want in there, you will always get something. And as a retailer, you know, ultimately we actually sell music for artists. It can be really damn annoying, actually. I'll give you a great example. I heard the Breakage remix of Claire Maguire's new tune on, I think, the Zane Lowe show on the radio in the car, as you do, tracking through the journey. Get to my desk the next morning and go, what was that tune? Oh yeah, it's not on our system. Oh, blimey, no. But it is on YouTube. You know? And yes, I can plug it into my browser and I can download it as well for free, you know, ultimately. But we're not allowed to sell it because, you know, we're not allowed to sell those new releases. So, you know, there's a reason why YouTube is so successful in that space. It just works, you know.
You've hit on exactly the right point. The reason that YouTube is so successful in engaging the kids and discovering music is because the labels allow everything to go on there, right from the early doors, much before they allow it on audio services. So, you know, it's part of the marketing, the traditional marketing campaign, that a video will be released before anything else. The video goes out first. So, and that's come from going back to music, television, videos go first, well, kind of alongside at the same time as radio dates, but significantly before retail. Now, when that has been transferred to digital, the same mentality applied. So what's happened is that, okay, so retailers, they don't get it yet, including streaming services, surprisingly, which I've got a major problem with. But video, yes, that's a marketing tool, not a retail tool. That's fine. That can go out straight away. So what you find, quite annoyingly, is that say the new video from any of the big artists will be on YouTube 5-6 weeks before it's on Napster, before it's on We7, before it's on Spotify. So you get in this position whereby we're trying to promote Napster as the destination to listen to music and discover music. But the labels are not allowing a level playing field, because they are allowing YouTube to be this wonderful marketing tool, which it is. And I think actually it's a great pioneer for digital music. And I think long term, you know, we all have to make sure that the labels come around to this way of thinking, that actually it's the same for streaming audio services as it should be for video. But in the meantime, everything is on YouTube. And it's not only that, but then, you know, you can get to kind of close to an album release and tracks will appear on YouTube. But because they can appear by users, they can appear on YouTube. Whereas everyone in this panel needs it to come through the official sources of the major labels. And unless they lift that restriction earlier, and maybe allow it for streaming before they allow it for purchase, which if they want to do it that way is absolutely fine by me, then we're going to always have this scenario whereby YouTube will be the destination and become more powerful.
I mean, there's definitely a kind of a certain lobby in the UK music industry and probably elsewhere, but there is a big voice growing that actually that labels and artists should really think about closing what they call the release window. So traditionally, you know, and traditionally it was through practicality. I mean, if you've got a release and you've got your publicist and your marketing department, they needed to like send it to the enemy, and they needed to send it to the guy, whoever was going to review it. They needed to send it to the guys at the playlist. So, you know, first off, you already have 2 days where you've got to have somebody, you know, actually physically post it. So now that's completely
now, of course, it's just a link on SoundCloud.
Yeah, now you can just send it on SoundCloud, and that works marvelously. But then you also had to wait, you know, because the print deadlines, when I used to run a label, we'd have to like be thinking who we were going to service 6 weeks beforehand, you know. So obviously you've got 6 weeks where you're trying to push the music out there, but now it's just so easy to kind of like rip and distribute stuff. But you've also got this dangerous game of radio playlisting. So you kind of have to wait to see whether it's going to get playlisted on Radio 1 before you start to make some of your commercial choices. And then if it gets Radio 1, well, do you leave it because that might go on to the kind of, you know, the more mainstream commercial services as well. So, you know, actually the industry is geared up in this way that is conducive to letting people leak it. And if you're a consumer, you're like, well, hang on, I just heard that in Zane Lowe and he's getting really excited about it and telling me that I should listen. And all these people on this forum are really going on about it. So, well, why aren't I going to go to the You Send It link or the, you know, or the YouTube thing? And I think like the people have to step back and take a bit of responsibility for that and actually say, well, you know, this is the way it is, and this is the way people want to consume music. And actually switch to that and get over it, and then start taking advantage and building systems around that. You know, so if they could make a version, you know, there's still geographical differences where, you know, different labels have it in different territories, so that the album gets released, you know, 6 weeks ahead in the US. So you have this really stupid like situation where everyone's tweeting about, oh, you know, XYZ magazine have got the new, you know, whatever album. But then the people in the UK or Japan don't have it because it hasn't been released in that territory yet. And like, it just seems stupid because they're just working against the internet. I mean, that's just not how things work anymore.